So first of all, I welcome you both to Pragati Vichar Literature Festival Authors Marathon. And it's a pleasure to have us being joined by both of you. The topic for today's session is From Page to Peril, the art of crafting exciting adventures for young readers. And I'll be the moderator for today's session. My name is Muskan, and I'm the co-founder of Soul Wellness. So, before we begin with the questions, I would just like to give a brief introduction of both the people, the lovely authors that are present here. So, first we have Miss Neelam Kumar. Miss Neelam Kumar is a passionate life skills coach. She pursued her master's in journalism in the US and worked as a top communications professional in India's largest steel company. 2 decades back, she dedicated her life in empowering young adults with the tools to deal with the complexities of real life and help them become confident global citizens, proudly rooted in their own culture. Her modules on handling relationships, emotions, resilience, communication, and stress have helped thousands of youngsters and adults across the world in navigating the intricacies of modern world. She is the best-selling author of 10 books, a writing coach, TEDx speaker, motivational speaker, and a biography writer. She lives in Mumbai, and yeah, so that is Miss Neelam Kumar. So next we have Miss Shraddha Sahi. She's a best-selling author of 5 books. She's an ophthalmologist who juggles her professional demands and passion for writing with her love for travel and tennis. She has loved words since she was able to spell the word cat, and when her parents got fed up with her constant demand for books, she decided to write her own. Miss Shraddha says that she's 75% caffeine and 99% asocial. This Pune based author is attracted to stories about strong, funny, and kick ass women. She loves writing for children and young adults because they have an unfettered imagination and still believe in magic. Her self deprecating humor will stay with you long after you've read her books. So that is Miss Shraddha Sahi, and I'm so glad that both of you could join us today for this session. And so, yeah, I think we can start with the questions. So, the first question to both of you is, what draws you to the genre of adventure writing, and what do you find most exciting about crafting adventurous stories for young readers? Um,
Shall I? Who answers
Yeah,
first?
yes,
you
yes,
go
of
first.
course.
Okay. So thank you for the question, Muskan, and welcome, Shraddha. You know, crafting adventure stories has been a passion with me. The sheer excitement of crafting these, the twists, the turns, the thrill, and of course, the opportunity to take young readers along with me into an alternate world which they have never visited. That is what makes this writing a very adventurous experience for me.
I think, like you said in my bio, in my professional life, I'm often very serious and I have to strictly, follow the guidelines, listen to all kinds of woes which are coming at me. So, and in real life also, I'm a bit of a couch potato. And so COVID was hardly a change in my lifestyle. So when I want to read or write, I want to travel to the other extreme. I want to do something adventurous, something dangerous. So that's why I think I gravitated to writing adventure stories. And I think, yeah, something unpredictable is very attractive to me. And where children are concerned, I think, they are already roads, marra ka cheezein they make very interesting. Simple activities they translate into big adventures and with their interpretation and their imagination. So I think to write for a age group like this is the ultimate challenge for a writer.
Yes, definitely. The imagination of children, right? Yeah, so my next question to both of you would be, what are some key elements that you believe make adventure stories particularly engaging for young readers, and how do you ensure your stories resonate with this audience?
Um, I feel that young readers have a mind that is largely a clean slate, but it is filled with wonder and curiosity. So my books, my stories, they pander to this side of their evolving minds. You know, Just imagine just telling children it was dangerous going near the mountain. They are hooked. Or what happened at Krish's house that day when his parents were away had never happened before. This is a hook. Children love, young readers love peril and danger, just as you said. So, to weave these into any adventure stories, these are the elements, I think. But there are five elements that I would like to mention. There is the hero, whatever gender, there is the hero, there's the quest that the hero sets out on, there is the dangerous environment. So that is very necessary. And finally, of course, there's a villain. And finally, there is the transformation, the jumping off from the page of an ordinary person into a hero, his transformation into a hero who has done all these wonderful, brave feats by his own efforts. So, I feel that these elements are very crucial in making, adventure stories successful. And these are the elements I try to bring in.
Yeah, I also feel exactly the same. And I'd like to add that children are, remarkably honest and blunt. And they get bored very easily. So, if you want them to continue turning every page, you have to be ultra interesting. You have to move at a very fast pace. They don't like being talked down to. They don't like being preached to. So you have to keep some mysteries and the journey, like Neelam ma'am described, the path which the hero takes. That journey shouldn't be totally, in the limelight, or shouldn't be totally clear. There has to be some things which the reader derives for himself or herself. If you leave that as a important part of your story, rather than beating them on the head with the outcome or what is going to happen and foreshadowing everything, then I'm sure they would love to read such books.
Very nice. Very true.
All right. So the next question is, adventure stories often carry themes of courage, discovery, and resilience that require a blend of research and imagination. So how do you both balance these two elements to create worlds that feel both authentic as well as magical? Also, what do you hope young readers take away from your books regarding life lessons and values?
Muskan, it's wonderful that you mentioned the word life lessons, because I have been a life skills coach in Mumbai's premier school for the last 20 years. And, all the modules, the life skills modules that I have been teaching my students, I always felt that, they are brought up, they have grown up on stories of Cinderella and Harry Potter. So most of them are completely unaware of the rich heritage that is in our country, the heritage, the cultural heritage of our myths, our fables, our legends. So when I introduce them to a book like Vikram and Betal, Life Lessons for Our Times, at first there is sheer curiosity. How can Vikram and Betal have any life lessons for our times? So that is when they start reading it, they understand that there's suspension of disbelief, that there are these stories of which I, take a lot of trouble in creating the environment. And each story is followed by a life skills nugget about what solution King Vikramaditya gave, and what kind of lessons they can derive from it for our digital age. So that makes them think, like Shraddha said, you can't talk down to them. You have to make them work. So when they start decoding the message and reliving the learnings, then they start enjoying the book and they get hooked. And I'm so happy that I've been able to introduce the wisdom of the past with the digital age learnings of today.
I agree. Research is very important. It's, in fact, it's the key tool to writing a very authentic novel. And research needs to remain the structural, it has the structural framework for your book. But the fill in the blanks have to be the imagination. It would be very boring if you had constantly boring details and, historical facts all the time. So you have to color it and bring it to life with the imagination. And that said, it's like a tapestry, the front part, the colors and the beautiful images are all the imagination. And the back side of the tapestry, all the knots and the crisscrosses, that's the research. But that holds it all together. So balance of the two is very necessary. And where my books are concerned, I have Tanaji and the Treasure Trail, which is a historical adventure. And I'd like to reiterate what Neelam ma'am said. Since this is a historical book, I wanted to bring Indian history to the fore to remind children that our history is not boring at all. You don't have to read it only in school, and it's not just to get marks that you have to look at it. And my characters always try to bring forth the theme that your voice matters. What you want to say is very important. So speak up, but also keep our values at heart. That you need to respect your elders. You need to respect your culture and give that importance too. So my books have a balance of the two, but always I encourage the children to be a little more progressive thinking than their era, whatever the era.
Very good.
Right. This session is just reminding me of my childhood when I used to read books like this. I mean, I was also an avid reader of, the Secret Seven and the Famous Five adventure books, and then I would
All of
also
us.
read,
All of us.
yeah, and then I would also read all these Panchtantra type stories with the
True.
life lessons. So I can definitely, relate to the imagination and then the life lessons, and yeah.
Right.
So yes, it's really lovely to, hear from people who write these books.
But Muskan, before we go any further, I would like to say that both Shraddha and I are under the big banyan tree of the literary agent, the bookmakers, headed by Suhail Mathur. So these books that I'm talking about have been published by him. They have been represented by him, and the reason why they are such big bestsellers is because of the kind of work they put in. So I would like to express my gratitude to TBB and to Suhail Mathur for this.
In fact, even my cover has been done by them. So
that's so beautiful. Yeah, I saw that. And Vikram Betal, the illustrations are stunning.
Yeah, very
they are so stunning. So ever grateful for that. Yes.
Yes. Right. So, next, I'll be moving on to the next question, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So the next question is, what do you consider the foundational elements of a compelling adventure story for young readers, and how do you ensure these elements are present in your work?
So it's a lot of thinking on the part of the writer. But I would like to mention two stories from this Vikram and Betal. Take the example of a story like King Roop Sen and his bodyguard Virvar. Now, this loyal bodyguard, he gets a dream that the monster who has been in the cave, who has been sleeping in the cave, has finally woken up and is now all set to make the king his meal as his first meal in the morning. So Virvar is so loyal that he goes to the cave in the night itself and he offers himself as food. That's adventure. But when the king hears this, he feels very guilty that he could not protect his own subject. So he goes to the cave, and well, the story follows. But the learnings from these are that courage is super important. It's a power that youngsters need to do. But there is also the question, how far can we take the maxims of duty first and doing everything right? You know, should it be according to circumstances? So these are the learnings, and the children start thinking, what would I have done in that case? Now, another story, The Three Hands, where, there's a young a boy whose father was a thief, but he was hanged before the boy was born. Then the second father married his mother, gave her respectability, but he died. The third father was a king who, adopted him as the prince and gave him his wealth before he died. So all three fathers died. On the day of the Shraddha is where, the son pays his respects to his departed father. And this boy, he goes to the river to pay the Shraddha and pay respects to the departed soul. And three hands come out. All of them say, I am your real father. I am your real father. So that is something that the children have been loving, because each one has a different answer, but is it the biological father who's most important, or is it the adopted father, adoptive father? So there's a lot of, adventure and discussions in thinking about it. But I also believe that what has made this particular adventure very adventurous is that from being passive observer, the readers turn into active participants. So for me, that is a very, very important element of any, compelling adventure story, because especially young readers, they like to see themselves as the main character, their imagination. So if they can relate to that hero, the book is a success.
Correct. I also believe relatability is very important. In fact, you have to stay on vocab and on, in line with the thought process for that age group. You can't, be very kiddish. If you're talking for middle graders, you can't be very grown up if you're talking for, the 4 to 8 age group. But the pace is also important. Stories have to move fast. You have to have unexpected twists and turns, as many obstacles as possible for your hero to go through. And obviously, leave the book with a little maybe unanswered question or a teaser.
Sure.
Like I said before, don't have everything explained to everyone. So that's, my two bits on the element.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So those were the questions that I had for both of you, and now I have one question each for like each person. So I'll start with Miss Shraddha. So my question to you is Tanaji and the Treasure Trail. It's a historical adventure that tells the story of the legendary Tanaji. So what kind of research and creative choices went into bringing history to life for the young readers?
First, I'd like to explain why I thought of this. Like I explained before, kids treat history as a very boring thing which they don't like at all. So I wanted to make it a bit more relevant to them, a bit more interesting. Plus, what I realized was that Neelam ma'am will know more, but coming from Maharashtra, both of us are familiar with Tanaji and his story. But kids outside of Maharashtra may have heard of Shivaji Maharaj, but not many know about Tanaji until the movie was
Right.
out.
Right.
So, and it's very important that people realize how, how valiant our people were, what an example they set, for, fighting against the, not only the British, but before that, in that era, fighting against the Mughals, the Bijapuri leadership, and, those kind of things need to be brought forward. So that was one of the main reasons why I wrote this book. And the character, my main character is Prajakta, 10-year-old girl. So most of my books are about women or girls. And like I said in my bio, I'm attracted to stories about kick-ass women. So since I hope to be one. And so I wanted to show this girl set in this era, but still she has a progressive mindset. At the same time, she doesn't, just disobey her elders or run roughshod, or even in that era expect that okay, people have to listen to me in spite of the fact that I'm a girl. So this setting, this female, I wanted her to shine amongst the background of this historical fiction. The research I did was a little simpler for me because we've grown up on this story. We've learned it in schools, so, and a lot of books have been written about this era. So, access for me was very simple. Only the little things like, what color clothes would she wear? So, were those dyes available in that time? Sometimes we tend to show the character looking at herself in the mirror. So, were mirrors actually there in that era? So, it's the little details which, took me more time. But the broad research was fortunately for me very easy.
It should be made into a movie, Shraddha.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So my next question would go out to Miss Neelam. So my question for you is, your books cover various genres from humor to graphic novels to motivational writing. So how do you maintain a sense of adventure in these diverse areas, especially when writing for the younger generation?
Thank you, Muskan, for this question. You know, I have in my kitty 11 bestsellers right now and one movie script. So all my stories have, they have a thread of adventure in them. Because without that, I don't see how a book can, shoot up. Whether I'm writing about my life, the problems I have faced, how I've dealt with them, or motivational stories, or biographies of superstars, each one has adventure as a thread, the main thread. But here I would like to mention two books, my two latest ones, both represented by Suhail Mathur of TBB. My upcoming book is Wi-Fi and Wisdom. A teen time travels with his grandmom. So it is a story of a teen who's been born into the digital age, and obviously, like other youngsters, he is hooked to digital media. And one day he just time travels. He decides to time travel to a digital free era of his grandmom, where there were values, where there were life was relaxed and slow paced. But at the same time, his grandmom travels to the digital age. So the rollicking adventure lies when in their meeting each other halfway. So this book is, very special to me because that grandbaby is my grandbaby and that grandmom is me. So, that I'm really awaiting the release of that book. But then I would like to talk about Vikram and Betal. The whole book is adventurous because just imagine, that's what young readers have loved, an era 2,500 years ago, a dark jungle, beast infested, and a very, very noble and brave king with just a sword in his hand, navigating the jungle to reach his destination because he had promised to reach there with a corpse on his shoulder. Now, the corpse keeps on asking him riddles, and if he will not answer, he will get his head smashed. So he answers. The whole adventure is about 25 unfinished riddles and 25 answers. Now, you can agree with the answers, you can disagree. There's always a thought process that goes on. But by the end of all the activities that the book has, the life skills nuggets that they have, the children learn the lessons of respect for parents, courage, compassion, perseverance, and qualities of bravery and every other thing. But there is also the thing about learning how to problem solve. The whole formula is given there. So they learn problem solving, they learn critical thinking, they learn perseverance. So all those lessons become very adventurous to them. So the adventure of this book is, it lies in the full circle of traveling from the past era to the digital age, learning about both the eras, picking up the lessons, and empowering yourselves. In fact, Muskan and Shraddha, I feel really, really happy and satisfied that I have been able to reawaken in the minds of young Indians ancient Bharat. So that gives me a lot of satisfaction that this is a gift that I have given today's children. Thank you.
That is really lovely to hear. Also, this is a little bit off topic, but I just wanted to say I really like your earrings. They're really pretty.
Thank you. Darling, I didn't have the time to wear because I was in another meeting. There's a matching, sunflower here also. So I thought it would be too yellow. But off the topic, Muskan, are you taking pictures of this session? Because I want to post it on the Book Bakers group.
So we have recorded this session, right? So if you want, we can send you like a few screenshots of the session after this.
Yeah.
Please. But take a picture, na, Muskan. Loved the way you interviewed us, and Shraddha, I loved your answers also.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you
Right.
so much.
Lovely hearing from you.
Lovely.
Have a nice day.
You too.